Maryland's capital is a hub of politics and culture, and what happens here resonates across the state. And one of the hottest topics, local food. Join us as we explore the movement, learn how to cook with local ingredients, and share tips for eating Maryland style.
Asparagus has always been a vegetable that I use to highlight seasonality and locality a lot because it's so flavorful and it's so subject to wilting within literally days if not hours after it's been picked. But you can get it 12 months out of the year. I mean, you just have to go to Whole Foods, right? You know, and you've got it. As long as you don't ask too many questions about where it came from, you can get asparagus anytime you want. Asparagus season around here lasts maybe 5 weeks if we're lucky. So we need to take full advantage of it when it's here. And it's the only time of year that I do asparagus. Virtually none of the asparagus sold in this immediate area could be truly classified as organic. It's not that they use pesticides or herbicides or anything like that on it, but the soils that asparagus grows in most farms needs to be augmented. So there usually is some sort of commercial type fertilizer used in the growing of asparagus. Now you can go to Whole Foods and buy organic asparagus that has traveled maybe 2,000 miles and was harvested maybe 10 days ago. My way of thinking, I would rather purchase spinach or asparagus from a mile or two down the road, even though it wasn't truly, completely organically grown. And I haven't quite figured out how the USDA can actually certify organic farms in Costa Rica when they have a really hard time doing it in America, but I'm sure there must be a way.
Okay.
When you get asparagus from the farm, from the farmer's market or whatever, the first thing you need to do is remove the woody end. So you just kind of bend it and there's going to be a natural break in it, okay? So why don't you help me kind of do that. And the woody ends we'll save for compost. It's nice and fresh. You can hear the snap when we do it. Now in the meantime, what we've done is we've got a pan of water going over on our little tabletop burner here. We're only going to cook this asparagus for a couple minutes.
How do you judge serving size?
With asparagus,
Yeah.
I usually do it by the spear,
Okay.
figuring 5 or 6 per person. So we're almost ready here. We're going to do a red wine vinaigrette this time. Red wine, the only difference between these two vinaigrettes is the proportion between our vinegar and the extra virgin olive oil. And the balsamic we did 4 to 1. And this one we're going to do 3 to 1. But we're going to use Dijon mustard again. And we're also going to use lemon juice again. And now we're going to use 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar, and I'm going to let you take over. Now we have 3/4 cup of this, but before we do that, since we're bubbling here, why don't we put in our asparagus? Just try to do it in a single layer. Now just one little change in this one is we're going to mince up a little parsley to do with that. So this is an Italian flat leaf parsley. We need to kind of pick the leaves off the stems just a little bit on this while we wait for. Now this will also give us an opportunity to use the knife again. And in that, when you use the knife blade should never leave, should always be touching the cutting surface. I'm going to move this slightly out of the way. I'll let you go ahead and do that. Now while you're doing that, I just grabbed some of our purple broccoli.
Okay. What makes it purple?
It's a different type of broccoli other than the green kind. Which is actually a very good point. Because you're only familiar with green broccoli.
Right, right.
Okay? There must be 50 different kinds of broccoli. Now why do you only see green broccoli?
Why?
Because green broccoli lives well in a truck. Okay, well, because these things are bred to be able to travel these distances, to be able to sit under refrigerated circumstances so that when you get them home, they're going to be crisp, whatever. This sort of broccoli only lives well for maybe a week, and it'll start getting a little spongy. There are purple beets, which everybody's familiar with, but there's also candy stripe beets that you slice in half and have little rings around the inside. There are yellow beets. There are all sorts of different sorts of vegetables that people aren't familiar with anyway because they haven't been bred to be delivered to us the way a lot of these things have. So while this is cooking, we're just going to add that too. Now, if you can see, the asparagus has been in there a couple of minutes. It's already turned color. And I'm going to get a plate. There you are. Now this recipe that we just did is in Jamie Oliver's Food Revolution cookbook. What he's trying to do is get you to come home from your busy day, throw some asparagus in, which just took a couple of minutes, make this salad dressing, which also just took a couple of minutes, and then here you are. Now you're eating real food.